LASUAASOC TV. My name is Catherine Adegbe, and here is the news at 9. The highlights first. NUC reaccredits LASU. LASUAASOC library ready for students. Broadcast students face production. ASOC counts the effects of protracted strike. Business activity paralyzed in LASUAASOC. Now the news in full. Adebola Adegowa School of Communications, Surulere, has recently embarked on another phase of accreditation exercise. This was done in order to place a universal standard on the programs being offered in the Nigerian universities. However, the National Union Commission, NUC, carried out the exercise in order to check the facilities put in place in various universities. Our correspondent, Kemi Johnson, in an interview with a senior lecturer in the journalism department, Mr. Jimmy Kayode, speaks on the essence of the exercise. Her reports.
Accreditation is just a way of making sure that every program by any university in Nigeria is run according to these guidelines. It's a way of saying you can do more than NUC requires. But for you to be accredited, you must not go below the guideline. It's a minimum standard. People are going to say, well, your program is not accredited. So how do we know that that program actually meets the standard of the NUC? So it would affect students. It would affect the school. As a matter of fact, once the program is not accredited, NUC would not allow such a university to even admit students until it is accredited. The school will not be allowed to admit students. That's the policy. That's why what NUC normally does is that they can give you a partial accreditation. When they give you a partial accreditation, what that means is that they allow you to admit students and they give you like 2 years of grace to put the program at the level the NUC requires. After that 2 years, if you still can't make accreditation, NUC will stop that program from admitting students. You have more than the NUC requirements. That's the point.
So can you tell us the facilities we have thus far?
Facilities. We have everything that NUC requires and much more. We have the studios, we have the radio studio, we have the television studio, we have the photo studio, we have the newsroom. Those are the things that NUC looks for. And then of course the staff. There's what NUC calls the staff-student ratio. Okay. I think for our program it's like 1 to 32, and we are well within that range. In terms of population, 1 lecturer to 32 students. So NUC looks at the population as in relation to the number of lecturers. In all those requirements we have met.
Still on the accreditation, a 400 level part-time student also heard his opinion.
As regards accreditation, I don't see any negative effect. I see more of positive effect, because the accreditation would make the student become better professionals, because there will be equipment for them to use. Even when they leave school and go into the labor market, the employers of labor would better accept them, because their certificates are the course they came out with as being professionals is accredited by NUC. So that's more of a plus. I don't see a minus in that.
My number than the portable, it means say I think to carry am come to MTN. Easy to enjoy the coverage where no get part 2. The number where you they use now and before carry they go, yeah. I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want to MTN. Carry the same number, I don't break to MTN.
You too can switch to MTN and still retain your number from other networks. Walk into any MTN authorized outlet and send the word PORT to 3232.
MTN.
Welcome back. As students are preparing for the second semester examination, students and lecturers have been advised to make use of the libraries. Being a bona fide student, you can explore the textbooks, newspapers, or visit the electronic library facilities for online research. One of the school's librarians, Mrs. Mojisola Bashono, bears her mind on the importance of the library.
The number of students using the library is impressive. They've been turning down very well towards the uses of the books. So many books were consulted as the exam comes down. In all areas and wings we have in the library, books are needed, especially the local books. So we encourage the management to provide more of the local books for the students in all wings of communications, for the students to appreciate the library more.
A cross-section of Adebola Adegowa School of Communication students bear their mind on the usage of the library.
I've not really had access to the library because the library closes by 4 and our exam is about to commence. By right, every student is supposed to have access to the library, be you a full-timer or a part-timer. But in our own situation, the exam is already coming forth and we don't have access to the library. I think the school management should do something about that. There should be equal rights and equal standard for every student in this school. If the full-timers have access to the library, to the students, to everything, we the part-timers should as well have access to the library.
Well, the library, I've never made use of faith. I've never gone there to read. I read at home anyway. I actually make use of the library oftentimes when I come to school early, maybe I have an assignment, or when the exam is fast approaching and all that. So I make use of the library. Should I say, if I want to grade it, I'll say out of 100%, let's say I make use of the library like 60%. Most of the time, when you come to the library to check for textbooks, as in to make reference to, most of the time you don't really get enough materials from the library. But sometimes, if you're fortunate to get some materials that suits you. So I'll say the library is less than 50% than that.
The library is always open whenever I want to make use of the library, and I love the library because we have all the books that we need in the library. So I'm satisfied whenever I get to the library to read. I find whatever I need in the library. The effect so for me is that there are some books that I can't get outside, but when I go to the library, I'll get them easily, make use of them. Mostly the e-library, to be precise.
The Radio and Television Broadcast Department students of Adebola Adegowa School of Communication have been carrying out different special reports in a course titled Broadcast Programming Techniques, as this will make them relevant in the broadcast industry as a whole. Cross-section of the trainee producers bear their feelings on the take-home production assignments.
He also joined Jose Altafini's record of 14 goals in a single Champions League season. Messi sets the European record for most goals scored in a season during the 2012-2013 season with 73 goals. In the same season, he set the current goal-scoring record in a single La Liga season, scoring 50 goals. Another exciting package. Till then, I remain Shogun Shoduke Olushola, keeping sporty.
Good morning. To take you guys for another 6 hours till the noonday to noon. Yeah, so Balaji, what's up?
Very well, thank you. Did you witness the traffic this morning?
I witnessed the traffic and man, guess what's on my mind?
Oh.
I'm so shocked about the anti-gay law being passed there.
Well, that one has been an issue since January 13, but come think of it, are you for or against the anti-gay bill?
I'm against the anti-gay bill because it's kind of not allowing people to express themselves. Yes, it's infringing on their fundamental human rights.
Yeah, so, that's true, because thinking about it, it's actually good, but let's look from the view of, the government. When you give people a mile, they tend to take an extra mile. So, I am gay. Yeah? Okay, the world knows that. And then, when you're being indecent, expressing your romance and all in public, and we're in an African culture.
Yes, I understand.
The 6-month protracted strike, embarked by the Academic Staff Union of Universities nationwide, has continued to generate reaction from different sectors of the country. A senior lecturer in the journalism department and welfare secretary, LASUAASOC chapter, Dr. Olunifesi Suraj, in an interview with our correspondent, explains while lecturers decided to go on the ASUU strike, which lasted for 6 months.
The strike has its merits and demerits. Let me say it's an advantage and well, its consequences. You see, everything in life has their own consequences. You see that head or tail. But basically, the ASUU strike is justified in so many ways. Not minding the pains that it has come with. You see, as a member of the ASUU, you see, ASUU doesn't just go on strike anyhow. You see, we have procedures. And before we go on strike, we'll have evaluated situations. And let me tell you that this strike that just came around now has been issued that we've been talking about several years ago, which culminated in the agreement, Federal Government Agreement 2009, in which the federal government signed from page to page, and they show every commitment to it. But like every issues in Nigeria, things doesn't work until when you push people to work. So like when went to sleep, in fact, you can even see a situation where they're telling you that they are not aware of any agreement in the first instance. So you have to go and look it and give it to them. The second thing to do is that the person that signed the agreement does not even know his left from his right. And then they say that even the person that signed does not, that the federal government does not cover the financial implications. See, that tells you the government that is very inconsistent and was not ready to do anything. So we fought for the liberation of the academic system. Our strike is based on the principle of justice and social responsibility. We feel that the government is fairly responsible to provide amenities, and one of the amenities is education for its citizens. And we feel that the way things are going, if ASUU does not come to the aid, we are going to witness what is happening right now in primary schools and secondary schools. And let me tell you, there's a World Bank agenda in which that the school were asked to be privatized, so that the government, does not have does not feel socially responsible for education. And that has been going on. You can see how many of private universities coming up. While we are not against private universities coming up, we feel it that we have the opinion that the government is duty bound, to provide a public service for their citizens, and because these public institutions are being financed by the public money, by the taxpayers' money, and so our fight is based on the principle of justice. We see the neglect, the decay that is happening in university systems, and we are getting to a point where if time is not taken, university students are going to be sitting on the ground, and in some universities already happening where the classes were crowded, and we are seeing a place where universities are being turned out and they are not of quality. The issue is quality here, quality of graduates, quality of education, the quality of the lecturers, the quality of resources they are accessing, the quality of leaders that are being produced from this system. And we know that once things go wrong in the university system, it affects society as a whole.
So do we now say that ASUU has been able to achieve its aim of? Yes,
we need to achieve our aim. Where we force government to commit itself to funding university systems, and that is why when it becomes obvious that we are not going to back out, he did a meeting with all the president now, and then he insisted that we should go back to class, that he will attend. We said no, because there are so many commitments before that were not honored. He should now sign, and which he did. We will now say he should commit himself by putting some money down, which he did. So partially we have been able to, how do I call it now, we've been able to achieve a part, but the rest now is how do we ensure that the money that is being put down is used for the purpose in which it's meant to be. That is one. And secondly, how we sure that the government does not back out again and say, well, after the first year we are tired, we cannot finance the whole thing. So we say, well, for the first battle, the first battle has been won. Now the issue now is to follow up so that the decay does not continue, so that what we have used the 6 months strike to fight is not being repeated again. I think that's the next phase of the battle now.
Yet the 6 month strike, like you said, we know ASUU has been able to achieve at least part of its aim. But don't you think that has a negative effect on among the students themselves?
Yeah, you see, maybe you have heard this quotation oftentimes that says there cannot be a lasting peace without war. Okay. That's the truth. There must be war before peace. You see, do you know that Ghana university was closed down for a year because the teachers refused to just be turning out products anyhow. The system doing the right thing, and because the government was not ready, so the university was put down for 1 year until the government gets its act together. So, well, the issue is that the students sat down at home for 6 months. The parents are not happy about it, but it's better because if we didn't do it, the rot will continue. If we didn't achieve, if we didn't stand our feet on the ground, we will not be able to acquire those money that were needed to refurbish university systems. So it's a sacrifice. Even on our own part, we are not happy because a lecturer who is used to go, is the one thing about teaching is that a good teacher derives pleasure from teaching. You see, he loves to see students. You see, he loves to impart knowledge. You see, once that is not done, the greatest punishment you can give to a lecturer is to sat him down without doing anything for 6 months. Even though you are paying salary. You see, he's not going to be balanced psychologically, he's not going to be balanced intellectually, because you have, and one thing about lecture is that when you have so much knowledge and you don't have avenue to dissipate this knowledge, you are going to develop some psychological problem. So psychologically we are distressed also, but the pains, we also will feel the pain. Our money was not paid for some time. You see, we are living on, on borrowed materials. But despite all those pains, the joy of it is that those fights are not in vain. The aim and the purpose has been achieved. The university system is better off. The education is better off. We need to tell the government that this university is not a market where everybody just go there and come back. It's an institution that's going to produce intellectuals. So whatever pain anybody have felt, maybe the student or the parent, and even the lecturer themselves, they should see it as a sacrifice for development.
So a word for both the students and the federal government.
Well, the students, they have to be up and doing, and they must know their rights, because the situation where things are getting, you see, in those days when it's not the that fight for what happened in the academic system. It's a student that goes out and he must go. It's a student riot. But when the students are docile and they see themselves as social leaders, they're not social leaders, they are present leaders of the country. So when they are not doing the right, they are not they are not fighting for their right, they are not speaking out, they will continue to suffer in silence. And now that the money has been provided, so the only thing we can tell them now is that to make use of the available resources, to make use to put their lecturers at the edge of knowledge. That is by accessing the donors, because those are the things we are clamoring for. We want donors that university can subscribe into. We want internet that they can log into, and we expect students to be using these resources so that they can even challenge the lecturer to give them the best. Because when students are not good enough, lecturers are not going to go all out to be good. Then when you come to class and you see the level of interaction, you see the level of knowledge that your students are displaying, you'll be forced to give them better off. So the only advice you can only ask them is that, one, they should see themselves as leader of today, not of tomorrow, and they should be up and doing to make sure that this system does not collapse.
The simple thing is that we are supposed to have our final paper, and the exam was supposed to just come and go as usual. But then the strike just ended everything, because at that hour, personally, I've been planning to work in a very prominent agency. They would not accept me except I'm a graduate, and I was hoping to be a graduate at that time. So the 6 months just made me lose that opportunity. So although during the 6 months also offered me opportunity to harness and amass some knowledge.
See, what he's trying to say is that it has its positive side and its negative side.
Okay.
Positive in the sense that he would have actually gotten, okay, he was able to harness that time to do something productive. Negative in the sense that we couldn't get jobs. Because we're not graduates yet, and we are not ready to employ
undergraduates. That's because they were afraid that if the strike was called off right this moment, we just opt out and say, "Sir, we're not run back jobs again," which would be detrimental to their own events. So the strike has good and bad aspects. I think what the federal government should do, everything boils down to the FG. Okay. Because this problem emanated from their own negligence. I'll call it negligence. If the ASU, who is supposed to be spearheading the activities of universities in Nigeria, is saying that the standard of university in this part of the world is low, and is advising the FG to up it, to increase the standard, it is left for the FG to either make assessment whether they are telling the truth or not. And if they are telling the truth, they should just do as they were told. Now, that aside, the FG signed a bill that they would do this, and they didn't do it, so it's only natural that the strike happened. And I think if the FG remain adamant, not implementing what they've signed, we will continue having that strike. So it's not really about the house.
We just keep bickering, because the moment this strike started, the federal government had the opportunity and the chance to end it as soon as it started, but they chose to ignore it. And so as it was that lengthy, it took 6 months. It was 6 months. So it's just unfortunate that the federal government is not student friendly and academic friendly. They don't really care if you graduate or not, because they signed the memorandum in 2009 that they should have implemented, and that's what ASU was actually asking for.
Simple.
I was telling our universities are very, very poor. Do something about it. Upgrade it. Pay our lecturers what they deserve. Researchers that are supposed to go on in universities, but the government, they're not really paying attention to the whole thing. So it's just unfortunate that when they don't pay attention to the lecturers' demand, things like that happen. And of course, we tend to suffer it, we the students. So it's just affecting us every time.
My number than the portable, it means say I think to carry am come to MTN. Easy to enjoy the coverage where no get part two. The number where you they use now and before carry they go, yeah. I don't photo, I don't photo, I don't photo MTN. Carry the same number, I don't upgrade to MTN.
You too can switch to MTN and still retain your number from other networks. Walk into any MTN authorized outlet and send the word port to 3232.
MTN.
In recent developments, business activities that usually take place at the Adebola Adegowa School of Communication has been truncated due to indefinite closure of LASU and stoppage of all activities by the full-time students in all the campuses. The small-scale business operators on the campus speaks on the challenges they face since the full-time students are no longer on campus. They plead for immediate resumption.
So far is that the sales has been dropped. So far the full-time students are not in the school. So to really affect the business, there is no sales, we are not making sales. But at least we are making some sales, but not really much. Really, we don't close late because of them, because it's part-time and full-time we are dealing with. We do it till afternoon, but it really affects the sales. More than the part-time students. So far they are on strike now. The sales was very poor.
Ọ̀tọ̀ mo gbọ́n tẹ́ ń sọ, àmọ́ ìlèsò ìbò ni àmọ́ mo gbọ́n tẹ́ ń sọ. Ní tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní pé láti ìgbà tí strike ti bẹ̀rẹ̀, èmi ò rọ́jà ta ẹ dákun ẹ bá bẹ̀ wọ́n kán wọlé kalẹ̀ rówó, inú ìdí owó púpọ̀, ẹ ṣeun, yóò dà fún yín tó pọ̀ o, ẹ bá a sọ fún ìjọba báwọn.
My business is going fine. Everything is going fine, doing well and well.
So you have no side effects?
No
Not
effects.
been affected?
No, nothing.
Strike has been affected. I have been affected for the past 6 months. And due to the economy of the country, I think if I should diversify, it will really affect the other business. So I've been sitting down and actually doing quite short. It has been a great loss on one side. But when I came back here, I met my papers damaged, where I had to change them away. It affected me so badly. And then maybe another, the school has been shut down since Thursday. We're doing nothing. Like today, I've not done anything today. Just came back to see what's happening. And then for now, we are hopeless. We don't know what don't know the decision of the school and the school yet. Just hoping it will not
And that's the news at 9. Do join us at 12 for another package. But before we go, here are the news headlines again. NUC reaccredits LASU. LASUAASOC library ready for students. Broadcast students face productions. LASUAASOC counts the effects of protracted strike. Business activities paralyzed in LASUAASOC. Thanks for listening. For more information, follow us on our YouTube channel, LASUAASOC TV, or on our Facebook page, LASUAASOC PR. I am Catherine Adebe. Thank you.